Uh, so, Joel, yes,
Well, we have to
parody.
start the whole conversation over now because no one could hear us.
Welcome to Table Quest. If you're just now tuning in, this is exactly where the stream started, not before. I definitely did not cut the beginning part out. And
For those of you on YouTube confused on what Kendra is saying now, because you actually did start just now at this point in time, we did not have major sound issues for the first significant amount of time, 18 or so minutes. Okay, so A5E, level up. It's pretty cool. Kyle is going to be running a game for us. It brings a whole lot of the stuff that people loved from 3rd edition sort of back in, but colored by 5th edition rules. You're looking like there's something wrong with audio again, Kyle.
No, not audio. My lights just flickered.
Oh, right, because you're in the middle of a giant storm and might get electrocuted on camera. I mean, that would probably get us a lot of views, right? That could be good for this. For the...
Yes.
Right, exactly. No, okay. So, Kyle, what were the things that you thought were the cool little bits and pieces about this system?
So, broadly speaking, the tools that are available to a level 1 character in Advanced 5th Edition push a player to make a rounded, fleshed out character, which I think is really cool. It's really flexible. It's got a lot of nuts and bolts, because you pick up your skills not just from your class, but also from your heritage, from your culture, from your background, and it all comes together to kind of cobble together a complete character that you're making. Another cool thing that I think is in this setting is the use of something called expertise dice. Technically, it should be expertise die. You're only ever rolling 1, but you unlock the ability to do it when you're proficient in not just the skill, but in some niche application of that skill. So you can be proficient in sleight of hand, but you could specialize, have expertise in specifically lockpicking or trap disposal, or have a conversation with your DM about what your expertise can be in, because there's a lot of flexibility there. And when you are using this skill that you have expertise in this niche way, you get to roll an extra d4 for your skill check. And as you layer on things that make you better and better at this skill, it will slowly rank up the size of your expertise die. So if you've got an expertise die from your character creation in lockpicking, and you get another one from the class ability or some other feature, instead of it going from 1d4 to 2d4, it goes from 1d4 to 1d6.
Yeah, so I really dig that concept for a few reasons. One, everybody likes to roll more dice, right? That makes it more fun. But a lot of people don't realize that 5th edition in the Dungeon Master Guide has an optional rule that's similar to this, but I think that A5E takes it and improves on it. So the rule in the 5th edition DMG is that you can swap out the proficiency bonus that you get as you level up. So say it starts at +2 at level 1, right? You could swap that out for an equivalent die roll instead. So at level 1, instead of getting a +2, you roll an extra d4. So you can have anything from a +1 to a +4 from your proficiency with that skill from that class, and then that goes up. So when you get to +3, it's a d6 because 3 is approximately the average, right? So that already exists as an optional rule that a lot of people don't realize, but what A5E is doing is they're adding that on top of your proficiency, right? So it's extra bonuses, which starts to move 5th edition a little bit away from the bounded accuracy concept, right? And gets us back into the sort of 3rd edition 3.5 Pathfinder mentality where you can have plus 15 to a roll or something like that, which is its own kind of fun, right? It's a different kind of fun, but it is definitely a fun way to play the game.
Yeah, I agree. I like the level of like little extra crunch that it brings in the
Right.
creation process, and like as you play, as you develop a character, finding those ways to, oh, does it make sense for me to take this subclass because
Right.
I really want to be good at this, and have
Yeah.
those things as you're building a character.
Yeah,
Uh,
I feel like fifth edition compared to A5E is kind of like comparing, if you go back to like old school first edition D&D, there was basic and there was advanced, right? And I feel like fifth edition is basic D&D and A5E is advanced fifth edition.
and I think they've accomplished their goal.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, it for sure. It Another thing that they do is they codify a couple of house rules that I've run into actual rules, which is the idea that you can crit succeed or crit fumble your saving throws. A nat 20 on your wisdom saving throw always succeeds, and a nat 1 always fails. Uh, Ability and skill checks are a little bit different. If you roll a nat 20 and you succeed, you critically succeed, but it's possible for a 20 plus your modifiers to not hit the DC. It doesn't let you do the impossible.
Mm-hmm.
So there is some semblance of like it makes sense.
So
But
isn't
if
it?
you roll in that
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
well, if you roll a nat 20 on your ability check or your skill check and you succeed, you both succeed and some other more beneficial thing happens.
Right, that's what I was going to say. It's like extra success if you would succeed anyway. And isn't it the same way on the failure side? A nat 1 with modifiers, if it was a success, you would not fail, right?
Correct.
So, like, if
Yeah.
I had a plus 9 and I needed to get a 10 and I rolled a 1, I'd still succeed.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
if
you'd
you
hit your
fail, you fail spectacularly.
yes, something goes extra wrong for you
Right,
on
right.
top of it.
I think that's a really good way to handle that because a lot of people don't like the idea that you have a 5% chance to have something horrible happen, right? Like stabbing yourself in the foot or something like that. They don't feel like it's realistic, right? It breaks immersion. But by having it bounded by would you have succeeded or not in the first place, I think that that's a really good way to handle and still give you that sort of epic failure, epic success feeling without it just being magic that it happened
Yeah,
that way, right?
it eliminates the corner case where an epic level adventurer is making a basic like meal
Right,
and they have a 5% chance of burning it.
right. Yeah, makes no sense whatsoever. Exactly. Yeah.
And shortly before we addressed our issues, we were talking about Cathar's heritage, which is a lizard folk of the chameleon subtype.
Right. Yeah. No, I thought it was very cool that they had different varieties of lizard folk and each of them had their own special thing. And that there was one that's sort of based on chameleons that not only can make themselves blend in with the environment, but like I think the way that it's written is if you concentrate enough, you can even make your clothings and belongings disappear as well, which is very cool. And as soon as I saw that, I thought, well, that would make for an epic rogue. That seems like a very cool roguish thing to do. So I grabbed that and I thought, I haven't played a rogue in a long time. This guy's going to be like super thief. And then I realized that like I didn't even have to lean into the lizard folk thing really hard. I could just have that as an aspect of it, but have him raised in a different society and get benefits from that. So yeah, there's so much availability to customize and come up with exactly the concept that you want without feeling like anything that doesn't fit in with the rules you just have to sort of color differently. There's actually mechanics to support unique character concepts, which 5th edition struggles with. Fifth edition D&D has struggled with that quite a bit, I think, especially for people who've come from more crunchy systems, people who came from the 3.5 era and the third edition era, right? Right? Yeah, absolutely. I love D&D fifth edition. I think that it's a great rule set. I think that it's super good for getting people involved in a role-playing system without overcomplicating it. But once you've done that for a little bit, this is a really good way to broaden horizons.
Yeah, yeah. To kind of catch on that, the culture. There's two things, right? That on top of your heritage goes into the building of the fleshing out of a character, and that's the culture that you come from, your kind of your formative years,
Right.
and then your background is what you've spent your adult life doing, what your kind of skills of the trade are,
Right.
uh, and the
Pre-adventuring
variety
career,
of,
so to speak.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the culture edition because it really makes it so you can truly customize your character. Like you can have like a gnome raised by orcs or something super like not common for your backstory, and that reflects when building your character. You get like the stats from like you wouldn't normally get, or maybe some perks that you wouldn't normally get in like just normal fifth edition. So I really love the culture background because writing backstories is the funnest part of making a D&D character sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can really, really feel that coming through when you're actually playing your character. Like you can feel those like little niche things that you plan about your character really come through when you're actually playing. So
For
love
sure.
culture.
For sure.
Do you know what's great about it? I'm just gonna throw my 2 cents in there.
Yeah.
Shopping, baby. I bought a jar of leeches. Who can say that in 5e, eh? A jar of leeches as medicine or to throw at my enemies.
I love
And I
that.
love
Cathar
I'm
has
so
his eye
excited.
on that jar of leeches, buddy. That looks like a fantastic midnight snack as far as he's concerned.
River, why don't you tell us a little bit about Pearl? You're going with an oracle flavored cleric, right? Is that?
Yeah. Pearl's annoying. She is a human. She's a human. She is a cleric as well. Not your typical cleric. An annoying one. I don't know how many times I'm going to say that she's annoying, but I feel like she's going to be a little bit annoying. I wrote a little bit of flavor text for her, and it was that sometimes a lie is necessary and much more pleasant than the truth. The truth can be destructive. It's not that I don't want to see things exactly as they are. I just want to remember them in a prettier and more beautiful way. And truthfully, and this is stolen directly from a Lady Gaga lyric, truthfully, the lie of it all is much more honest because I invented it. And so she's kind of, I wouldn't say delusional, and I wouldn't say that she's evil either. She thinks that what she's doing is right, and she thinks she is protecting people because the truth can be painful, and she thinks sometimes a little white lie is necessary here and there, and that's basically her draw to action, and it's gotten her in a little bit of trouble. But yeah, she's a shit stirrer.
And Kendra, you're playing a high elf bard, heretofore unnamed, right?
Yeah. I haven't. I was hoping chat would like give me suggestions, but somebody's encouraging Alf, and so that's definitely not helpful. So maybe I am Benifer. I think that might stick. But anyways, yeah, I'm playing High Elf. I kind of wanted to lean into the stereotypes a little bit of just like snooty, British. Who knows what accent I'll pull out for when we start. But yeah, I kind of wanted to play with the bards, like make them kind of like a klepto a little bit so that I put myself maybe in bad situations to have to speak out and weasel my way out because that's always fun, being chaotic. And what else to say about Benifer? Yeah, it's sticking. I'm Benifer now. Thank you. Yeah, so, and I don't have an aspiring quote. I should have prepared that. Damn. but I think they're kind of just collecting stories. So I wanted to actually play an intelligent character for once, and not just somebody who's floundering and flustering of like what to do next. So that's going to be an interesting twist on the play characters I usually play. But they're a lore bard, so collector of stories and treasures and stuff, and they're kind of a treasure hunter, a trinket hunter, story hunter. They want power. And I don't know, Kyle, if you want us to like reveal what our destiny is, but their ultimate goal is to maybe potentially just be so smart that they outsmart the gods and become a god themselves. So, that will be fun.
That has happened before on this continent, so you don't dream an impossible dream.
I'm a simple girl. What can I say? I just want to be a god.
Don't ask for much.
I just want to clarify, Kendra. You are not playing the bundle of chaos that everyone is used to seeing. Is that accurate?
It's gonna be a smart, controlled chaos.
Okay.
Yeah, not like in your face chaos. It's more of like there's a lot going on up here. But
But the same level of impulse control, maybe?
Yeah, I have impulse control this time, okay?
Oh, all right.
It's gonna be hard, but I do. This time, well, I am a kleptomaniac, so maybe not.
Very intelligent. You have, like, good ideas, destructive ideas, but you have impulse control. So, like...
Yes. If I see something shiny, am I going to risk everything to steal it? Yes.
Noted.
Risk everything.
But, you know...
All right.
Potentially.
But you'll put a good plan in place first.
Yes, I won't get caught. That's the difference this time.
I
will not be caught for my crimes.
Step number 1, get away with it.
Exactly. Simple.
Right on.
So.
Right on. Pull this up. Not joining us tonight, but joining us for the session 1 is our own dear Ben, who has given me a little bit of information on somewhere. It's somewhere, I swear it's in here somewhere. There we go, on his character, who goes by the name of Dirk Bug. And Dirk Bug is something of an unlicensed private investigator who is, well, he's been set on the trail to run into the others because he is looking for somebody. And I think I'll leave that level of the aspect for Ben to explore. But completely kind of middle of the road, average looking human. And he relies on quick thinking, improvising, and making do with what is available on hand to get through a situation. So, in summary, we've got Joel with Cathar, our extremely sneaky sneak thief, River with Pearl, our fibbing cleric, kind of slides through life, Benifer, a kleptomaniac, brilliant lore master bard.
No, I just figured out my name. I'm so sorry. I just typed it in the chat. So my new name is Vidania Binyefer Alfe Brajlinia. That is the name I'm going with. So
got it. And
but I can just go by Vad. Vad for short.
Vad, okay.
Vad for short. Because it's classy.
Excellent. So we've got Vod, the high elf kleptomaniac lore master, and we've got Dirk Bug, a private investigator on a case of their own. No patron putting them forward in the world on their search for answers. So let's talk about the connections between the characters that bring us all of them into our starting theme together.
So,
Previously, yes.
how much is too much?
So my first
Ooh.
reflex is to say too much is not enough, but that's just my own personal philosophy. Why do you ask? What do you have in mind?
No, because I'm like, it's just like, how much do we share? Because obviously some of that is some juicy McJuice, and it's just like sharing out the juice. There's not going to be enough juice for later on when you want a glass of juice.
Nah, keep some juice in the fridge.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Just give them a little nibble.
We'll put the bad stuff out.
Mm.
We'll give you all the apple juice for now.
Okay, so yeah. We've shared that Dirk is looking for someone. That's what brings him to our starting town, which I will reveal to the audience goes by the name of Puddletown. That is the town that borders the lake of the Lakeside. And I think we had established that Cathar, you're traveling with Dirk, right? Is that
We hadn't quite clarified. I think I was getting sort of drug along by Kendra's character because she was just very intrigued by the weirdness of my history. A lizard raised by gnomes. That doesn't look like any lizard folk that she's ever seen before. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the connection. But then, and Kendra, I'm sorry, what is your character's name at this point? I heard an Alf in there somewhere.
Yeah, no, I go by Vod.
Vod.
Yeah.
Right. Like video of the day.
Okay, now you're gonna
For
have
an
to change
A?
your name again.
I spelled it with an. It's VAD, right?
Yeah, VAD.
Yeah.
VAD.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like
no, that's what. Yeah,
Vlad
video of the
without the L.
day.
Yes.
Yeah, Vlad
Okay.
without the L.
Apostrophe instead of the L.
Yes.
Yeah,
In my
exactly.
head.
There
Mhm.
is an L there, but it's been replaced by an apostrophe. But we all know it's an L that's unpronounced. Okay.
Sure.
So, right. Okay. So, if I remember correctly, the conversation that we had, it was that Kithar has been invited to travel with Vod because Vod wants to poke and prod at his background and learn things. But that Vod also has a connection with Dirk. Is that right?
With Dirk? No. I think me and Dirk, we first meet when we get to Puddletown.
Okay.
My only connections are with you and with Pearl.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have a connection with me. What is your connection with Pearl?
I lied. I lied to Vidania, Benefer, Alf, Brangelina.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it got you in trouble. I don't know.
Yeah, we met probably not in Puddletown, but in a different town, and you read my fortune, I believe. And I'll leave it at that. But as all good friendships start, it started off with kind of a lie, so that's going to be great for
Okay.
us.
So then none of us has a connection directly with Dirk.
I do,
Oh, you
Yep.
do?
but
Pearl.
kind of indirectly.
Okay. Is that a connection that would be obvious at the beginning of the story?
No, it's gonna be a little bit of
Okay.
a reveal moment, like a wig under a wig.
All right. Well, I guess we need to figure out how we all connect up with Dirk then.
So, it's just like I'm trying to be like subtle.
Mhm.
I know because I'm an oracle. I know where he's going to be. My intention, what brings me to Puddletown, isn't directly because of that, but it is something that what he is trying to achieve is something that Pearl is going to be invested in. But my main reason for going to Puddletown is because of a premonition. I'll say that. And leave it at that. But
Okay.
I'm following Vidania Benefair Elf Brangelina.
Okay. Okay. Full of
And
mysteries to be unfolded.
Yeah. There's a lot of mysteries in Puddletown, it sounds like. Do you want to read off your little intro to Puddletown, Kyle, or should we
Yes,
save that for... Okay.
I will read it again at the opening of session 1.
Yeah.
But let me pull that up. Yes, a primer on Puddletown. Puddletown is a town that has 2 faces, and they change with the seasons. During the hot season, around these parts, it's shiny and glowing, clean and clear. Music floats through the warm air, mingling with scents from the Green Swan Inn, beckoning you for entertainment and delight for an evening. Skills on display that dazzle the mind as well as the eye. And is it lively? Crowds of people, swarms of people, an endless river of people flowing over and through that little town. Sensible, safe revelry, and everyone goes home happy. However, like I said, Puddletown has a second face. When the hot season runs out, when the face of warmth turns away, its second face is revealed. During the cold season, gone are the crowds, the music, the smells, replaced with a forceful quiet, a vengeful quiet, descending as though in retribution for having such noise a few weeks before. Empty streets, shopkeepers that open up more out of habit than anything, and then, when they open up at all, it's for a couple of hours at most. The Green Swan Inn is still inhabited, sure, but not by bright-eyed families and courting lovers. No, indeed. It's half filled with locals who really could be doing anything else, and half filled with drifters, like yourselves. The fish stop biting, the band stop playing, and those skilled entertainers retreat back to their encampment, preparing to slink back away to wherever it is they go when the crowds dry up. Yes, Puddletown is one of the great jewels of the world, when the time is right.
The question is, will the time be right when we arrive?
That is a very interesting question to be asking.
That's a question for me. I'm the oracle.
Yeah.
No.
I think you could consult your local meteorologist also.
Oh, I see it in the stars.
Yes, that is the town that our assembled crew is going to be arriving at the opening of session 1. Next week.
Next week. I'm excited.
Next week,
I'm
folks.
excited.
Yes.
We are
We've
back.
got the paperwork done. We are back. We're off hiatus. Very exciting.
Definitely. Well, what else do we want to talk about this system and this adventure?
Yeah. In terms of the adventure overall, it's serving as an introduction to this setting, which has kind of an excessive amount of nooks and crannies filled in on it, and it exists to kind of introduce new players to it and get the resting assumptions taken care of, so that you kind of understand where you're at. Puddletown exists on a continent called Beligar, which is a deeply magical place. It is a land where the unusual is somehow the norm. Rolling hills, steep craggy mountains, migratory redwood forests, and consistently frazzled cartographers abound. Puddletown is a small village in a region on the continent to the south of the largest metropolitan area, also coincidentally called Beligar, uh, which the town is ruled in name by the Beligar monarchy, but functionally it's ruled by the mayor, which is an elected position in the town, and it's pretty much self-governing. It is really only exists for tourists and vacationers, and people who want to go somewhere in the back of beyond where no one is going to look for them.
So how big is this puddle of a lake?
The lake itself is actually quite large. You'll have to visit the gift shop to get an exact number on it, but it's quite large and drops off to a kind of frightening depth fairly quickly.
So like inland sea, Lake Superior level large?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
that kind of scales we're talking.
Okay, okay.
How like nice is this lake? I need to know. Like, is it like mucky and creepy and gross? Like, I don't even want to like touch it, or is it like swimmable and like
It's
nice
swimmable.
place to vacation?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I don't like the way you said that, but okay.
yeah. There are
Mm,
periods of time throughout the year where it is delightful and swimmable
okay.
and excellent.
Okay.
So are there like little destinations spotted around the lake, or is all of the uh, population centered in Puddletown?
The population is centered in Puddletown. It's
Mm-hmm.
all kind of clustered together. There is a space north of town that you can kind of tell on the lake shore that sometimes like medium to long term um, shelters are set up, but there aren't
Mm-hmm.
any at the moment.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, and I'll say that the not only is the population centered on Puddletown for the most part, kind of scattering off into the nearby forest and some flatlands, but also the entertainment is kind of concentrated there as
Okay,
well.
okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
What other questions? Do we have any questions from our viewers about the story, the scene, or the system?
Yeah.
What do you guys want to know?
There's a question about jet skis, which I think is very important.
Mm.
Yes, I won't say specifically, but I can guarantee to you that there are rentable jet skis.
Does anyone know how to
Um,
drive a jet ski in our group, though?
The
That's the
jet
next
skis
question.
know how to drive a jet ski.
How hard could
Okay.
it
just
be?
like
How
a
hard could it be?
Famous last words.
it's like a bike, isn't it? Really, at the end of the day, it's got handles. You sit on it.
Yeah.
Except if you
Yeah.
fall off, you just land in the soft water. It's
Yeah,
even better than a
Okay.
yeah.
bike.
Good old water. You can hit it going as fast as you want, and it's always nice and soft.
That's the way that works. That's the way
Uh-huh.
that
Yep.
works, yeah.
And Kyle, low magic, high magic. How much magic will there be?
It's going to be chock-a-block full of magic. It's very
Oh
high
yeah.
magic setting. Yeah,
It's a lot of magic.
yeah.
High magic from the perspective of the power of magic that is available. High magic from the perspective of the breadth of magic that is available.
Breadth, prevalence.
Mm-hmm.
High power magic is going to be less common.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, there are going to be uh, shops in town that are offering, you know, temporary enchantments or magical potions or all sorts of those kinds of things. They exist and are available in the world.
Is it the kind of world, like, would you compare it to, are you familiar with Eberron at all?
Not
Not
particularly.
particularly. Okay, so Eberron is kind of a Magitech sort of
Hmm.
steampunkish concept that was released for third edition. and in that world, like, people have standing magic items that can be used as stovetops in their home and to, like, act as a part of a sewer system, and it's sort of all built into the infrastructure. Is it that sort of a situation?
I would say that similarly, magic is leaned on to solve a lot of the operational problems that
Mm-hmm.
go into certain things. That is, it is often more reliant on the inherent magical nature of the people.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
And I will say, if I were to describe it, if I were to compare it to, and here's where my eyes are bigger than my stomach, perhaps. I would compare it more to an Ankh-Morpork than anything else, really, in terms of the breadth and impact of magic on society.
Cool. All right.
Somebody also asked, any custom magic, or is it just standard spells? I think we're just going with standard spells, but I believe A5E has introduced some new spells, so maybe one of us will.
They've also made
comment?
some changes to balance
Yes.
on the spells, so
Yeah.
they've made quite
Yes.
a few changes to the way that magic works mechanically.
Mm-hmm.
Does the power of friendship, does that count as a non-standard magic? I think so.
It counts as a non-standard magic, absolutely.
Boom, there you go.
Well, I would say an alternative magic.
I like that. Like
What-
the lip piercing.
What about the power of accumulated wealth?
Well, that's already
That's
a power
okay.
source of its own.
But would you say it's magical?
If we stretch our definition of magic to include,
Sounds like something that would be found in the warlock tree, because I feel like Jeff Bezos made a deal with the demon. Let's be
Quite
honest
possibly. Quite possibly.
Mm-hmm. Wait, no, not. We're Amazon Prime. This is Twitch.
here. No, we condone it. We condone demons.
Yes. We love our warlock besties.
I actually
Not
have
every
Jeff
demon,
Bezos
guys.
tattooed.
Not every demon.
Yeah, not every demon. Just who's a good demon?
Mammon, I
The
think,
energy
is the
drink.
one that.
Just the energy drink, everyone.
Maybe it was with a fae. Not all warlocks sign pacts with a demon. Maybe it was just like, Mother Winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'd do that. I see that for her.
It's called cold hard cash.
yeah, my patron is a bank.
That's right. It is literally a bank. The bank is sentient and it wants more.
Well, it's incorporated and has obtained peoplehood.
Look, you're a guy, and I'll give you $50.
Let's see, we have some more questions that maybe we can answer. Any major world storylines for interactions between the different heritages?
Before you answer, I'm just going to step away for just a minute, but you all go ahead and continue.
Okay.
I will say that so the original setting, a lot of the writing of this happened in 3.5, and something that I really enjoy doing with settings and modules that I'm writing is kind of stumbling across an interesting, like, connection between different rule sets. New term for races is heritages. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so some of the things that arose from that were sort of related to what 2.5 called races and their inherent bonuses, kind of informing the trends that they followed overall. And in revisiting this to kind of make it either system independent or take it into advanced 5th edition, I decided to pretty much let those go. So to answer that question, for heritages, and storylines for different interactions, I would say that for us here and now, we're going to start at about a time point 0, and let things proceed forwards. And maybe we learn some more about the further history along the way, but that's you're not going to find a really nice old, well-stocked library in Puddletown. That's not so much what it's there for. You'll find merchandise, sure.
Which kind of sucks as a lore master who really thrives in libraries. This is going to be interesting. But
Something that I think may be drawing you there on top of getting guided there by Pearl, and this kind of makes sense to me. You tell me if you like this.
Okay.
Something that you went to Pearl for is you couldn't decide between 2 next destinations. It was Puddletown and some other place. And the reason that Puddletown was on your radar at all was because in your searching for more knowledge, more information, you stumbled upon something that all the information that you could find about Puddletown referred to as the lake monster, but you couldn't
love.
find anything more, any more depth to it. Like, what is the lake monster? Like, and so that's why you were curious about it. Is there's simply nobody's bothered to write, an interesting research document on the species of creature that the lake monster is. It's just no. It's what do you mean? It's the lake monster. And
Lake monsters tourism.
yeah. The lake monster was the tourists we met along the way.
Love. Okay, that's definitely a good driving force for me.
Cool.
Should we also say what level we're starting at?
Yeah.
And how long this campaign is going to run for? Maybe that will also give people like a good expectation.
We're starting at 3rd level. I wanted to take us up out of the base level and get a little more bit of interactions, a couple more spells on the spell list and class features and whatnot, so that we could kind of play around with the rules a little bit more. And our goal is to have this run for 6 sessions. Am I remembering that correctly? Yeah.
Yes, but we love our RP over here at Table Quest, so I will be very shocked if we can keep it condensed to 6 sessions. Which, the more the merrier. You can never, we'll just take it as far as we need to.
Yeah. There is there are several layers of things going on in this town. So even if we do wrap up something in 6 sessions, that doesn't preclude us from necessarily coming back for another 6 or more at some other later date. If the Puddletown fans, I just wanted to call them pea heads, but that's not really appropriate. Or townies?
Pudlets.
Pudlets!
Pudletons.
Oh,
Pudledites. Pedelians.
Puddelian. Citizens of
Puddlers?
Pudlers is cute.
Yeah, it's cute.
Town goers. Yeah.
No. Pada ping, pada boom. I'm so sorry.
River, do you like puns? This
I
challenge
love
are really
puns.
bad. Oh gosh, not another one. I need to add a channel points or some sort of penalty because everybody else on the channel loves puns and it's too much puns. There's too many.
Can too many puns spoil the broth?
Yes.
I heard too many cooks do, but I've never heard anything about puns.
Puns are like garlic.
Or MSG. You can never have enough.
A friend of mine used to carry a bottle of powdered MSG around with him in college. Would just kind of sprinkle it on stuff.
I love that.
I'm pretty sure a doctor made him stop.
Oh, the doctor needs to check himself before he wrecks himself.
No encouraging puns in the chat, please. And thank
Yes,
you. Do not
encouraging
encourage
puns
this
in the
behavior. Let's see. Was there any more questions in chat? Let's see. There's another question about races. Standard races acting in standard ways or going more that no race has inherent negative or positive tropes.
So built into the heritage system, there are uh, the kind of things that you would imagine for that, like bonuses to various ability scores. Joel, we're talking about how we're handling heritages and like the kind of momentum of Tolkien style fantasy races, kind
Okay.
of carrying that behind.
Okay.
Uh, and there we go. So for the wide spread of available heritages, there are things that differentiate them between them. Things like uh, uh, the knoll heritage is if you're playing a knoll, and you get an expertise die on saving throws against being frightened, and against other effects that would alter your emotions. It's called bristling instinct. So written in, there are kind of things that make them different, but what is not written in is necessary ways that they behave. So there are suggested cultures, but in no way does that dictate the kind of culture that each individual player character grew up in. Any culture can apply for any heritage. So you can have your classic deep delving dwarves, but it's not mandatory.
So that kind of codifies something that I've always done in my games when I run them, even in standard D&D, which is that there are general trends and there are certain cultures and societies that exist in whatever the world is, whether it's my own homebrew or if we're talking about Forgotten Realms or whatever. But player characters, by definition, are exceptional, right? And so that should apply to your background as well. Just because most dwarves are deep delvers doesn't mean your dwarf can't have been raised by elves or something like that, right? Like that should 100% be okay because you're the one in a million, right? You're the one who's going to become the big damn hero by the end of the story. So it makes perfect sense that you would have an unusual background if that's something that you're passionate about.
Absolutely.
So what else do we have?
I'm muted. I was speaking to there. We have another question. Kyle, do you have any homebrewed rules that aren't official in either 5E or in A5E? I will say Kyle's very nice to us when we made our characters.
Oh man, that's
he
a
is a
homebrew
nice
rule and a
DM.
half.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
going to bring that one up. My rule
Yeah.
set for dictating how one rolls ability scores is incredibly lenient. It is your classic 46 drop the lowest, but I want you to do that 7 times, drop the lowest, uh, getting you 6 ability scores. And you can iterate that process of generating chunks of 6 ability scores pretty much as many times as you want. And then eventually picking one set that you like. And so long as you roll it within that one brick of 6, you're good to go.
And yet somehow none of us have a character with 618s. I don't know how it happened, but that is the case.
I've got a 7.
By choice, that was crazy. I was like, we have the nicest DM ever, and you're taking the worst stats. Why? But I get it. It's so
I'll
much
admit,
fun. It's
no,
the
like
chaos.
I did not actually use Kyle's recommended method for rolling because it felt dirty. So I just did the roll 7 sets of 76s and pick one, and that was it. I couldn't make myself do it a second time.
Nah, I take every advantage I can get. I rolled until I hit a perfect sweet spot, and I was like, not gonna risk my luck. I'll take this one, but
Typical Vad.
can I say?
I
And
assume
I like that. Yeah.
I was gonna say I assume the same rule for rolling stats applies to all of your NPCs as well.
Oh yes, of course.
Wait, no, I don't like that part. Wait, back up. Back up. I hate this rule.
This is a classic. This is a classic DM move, which is that if I let you do it, that means I can do it too. So.
No, that's not fair.
Just because you guys are picking stats for just one character and I'm doing it for 30 or 40 people, doesn't mean it's not fair. We're all following the same rules.
That's right. That's right. So can we please try not to get the entire like angry mob of Puddletown chasing us down, because they are all going to have 18s across the board.
Yeah, River. That
I
seems like something
predict
you're gonna
that's
get us
not gonna
involved in.
happen.
Yeah. We're good.
That's hilarious.
Yes, it's not the entire crowd of angry horde that's chasing you down. No.
There's
No.
32 of the 36.
Yeah.
That's right.
Some of them are busy lighting the torches and handing out the pitchforks.
Yes.
That takes a lot of work and effort.
It does.
Do we have any more questions?
That's it from chat.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of other house rules that I have. I mean, that really gets us going.
Right.
Oh, you're
Not like
thinking
to
about
think
that.
of any, really, yeah.
What were you gonna say, Kendra?
No, while you're thinking of that, I was gonna just tell everyone too that keep an eye out for our socials in our Discord. If you're not already there, I'll link the socials to our chat just now. We're gonna be releasing like a little teaser, some character art, some fun goodies to hold you over until next Tuesday. So.
Yeah. And this little sort of mini campaign introduction to A5E, we expect to probably last, what would you say, Kyle, around about 6 sessions? Is that the
I
ballpark
think
we're looking
6
at?
as a target is
Yeah.
an entirely reasonable thing to aim at.
And then the cool thing is, you know, we're all very aware of the sizable amount of drama that occurred through the end of January of this year with Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro and Dungeons and Dragons and various documents that the community was very, very, very upset about for good reason. We talked about it and thought this seems like a perfect opportunity to start focusing on other games on Tuesday night. So once we are done with this romp through Advanced 5th Edition, we are going to start bringing a new adventuring system, a new tabletop RPG to you all every 6 or so weeks. We'll introduce something new, we'll have a new story, a different one of us will be running an adventure, and hopefully for the next year or so, we'll be able to sit down together with all of you and look at all kinds of very cool RPG systems that are out there that have nothing to do with Wizards and Hasbro as alternatives to the gorilla, the giant gorilla that has planted itself in the middle of the tabletop RPG space. So, one of the things that we're looking at is, was it Worlds Without Number that Ben was considering? Stars Without Number?
Mm-hmm.
Stars Without Number.
Stars Without Number. So we're going to do some sci-fi. I am looking at probably one of my favorite systems that has come out in the last decade, which is actually open source, was designed to be open source. It's called Open Legend RPG, and running my own homebrew Magic has returned post-apocalypse adventure. And let's see, what else have we looked at as possible systems that we can bring to the table? Or I'd love to hear if the viewers have any ideas for systems that they'd like us to showcase.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm definitely gonna add to some of our socials a like email or something so that people can send in suggestions, because with the Tuesday channel, once people like learn that that's what we're doing, they can send in like, oh, you should check out this system, or oh, if you're a writer of a system, send it over our way. We want to try everything, and just explore other RPGs, because there's so much out there, and we want to introduce it to new people and try it out and just have as much fun as possible.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And maybe not like the ones that are really, really well known either. Maybe some nice indie
Super niche.
games that are out there.
Yes, please.
I still
please.
have in my heart of hearts a dream to run a game of the Amber Diceless role-playing game.
Yeah. Oh, Amber.
that sounds so fun.
Yeah.
Thirsty sword lesbians. Hello.
Yes.
Sexy
Oh, that's
sword
so good.
lesbians. Yeah, that's a good option. I'd love to get some kind of a Weird West game going. I think that would be a blast.
We're looking at Pulp Cthulhu, I think. as
Yeah,
well.
I'm definitely
Pulp
going
Cthulhu,
to
yeah.
Pulp
Yeah.
Cthulhu in there at some point.
Yep. That's sort of
Amazing.
Cthulhu meets Indiana Jones
Yeah,
thematically, right?
yeah, it's more bombastic.
Cthulhu with action heroes.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, it's action movie stories where the plot is
Right.
Lovecraft.
Right. Yeah.
Someone suggested in the chat, and I already love the premise of this. It's called Monsters. It is a system in which the player characters are monsters who prey on adventurers in the civilized world. That sounds so much fun.
That's
Definitely
a
check
great
that one out.
idea.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. I love that concept.
Oh yeah. So I guess if we're done talking about A5E, we can just say from Table Quest in general, we are back. Thank you for your patience during this hiatus. We have some goodies coming out on the channel this year. We have plans, so just follow our socials, keep up to date with everything. And we're so excited to be back and invite River, our newest cast member.
Yes, very excited to sit at a table with
Yes.
River.
Yes, character art will be out within this next week, so keep an eye out for that.
For sure. Get the word out there. Try to bring some people to watch with you next Tuesday. And as always, we will try to put on the best show possible for you guys.
Yep. And there probably will be technical difficulties, but that's just our charm, so that's why you love us.
Well, we're
Invite your
gonna
IT
try
tech
to-
friends, just in case.
I thought it was all working, guys.
We did great. We did great. We pulled it off.
All right. Well, I mean, I think unless there's anything else, if the audience, I'm gonna put a call out there for thoughts, questions, and emotional outbursts. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you want us to do in the future. Let us know if you love us. Keep it to yourself if you hate us. We'll see y'all next week. No jazz hands this time.
No,
jazz
that has
hands. We
given
gotta
us
think of
such
something
bad
else.
luck in the past.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.